very good morning. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start straight away with the headlines this morning. Crucial floor test in Uttarakhand Assembly. Advantage Harish Rawat as rebel MLAs disallowed to vote. Elaborate security arrangements in place. Sonia Gandhi hits back at Prime Minister's jibe on her Italian roots, says India is her home and she will live and die here. Congress mulling appropriate motion against Prime Minister in Parliament over allegations against Sonia in the VVIP chopper deal. Gaya JDU MLC's son, who allegedly shot dead a teenager in a road rage incident, arrested. Rocky Yadav reportedly picked up from a factory after being on the run for 2 days. Supreme Court to examine roadmap to gradually phase out diesel taxis in Delhi NCR today. Allows diesel taxis with All India permit to ferry BPO employees. And the Panama list goes online. Data shows 2,000 Indian links to offshore holding of companies in various tax haven nations. Pressure mounts on New Zealand to act after data shows surge in number of foreign trusts. And our top big political focus this morning is the floor test in Uttarakhand. Deposed Chief Minister Harish Rawat is in a position of advantage after the Supreme Court denied rebel MLAs the right to vote in the floor test today. Elaborate security arrangements are in place for the crucial vote today.
It is the crucial floor test in the Uttarakhand Assembly. The vote is being held in the backdrop of the Supreme Court decision of disallowing the 9 rebel Congress MLAs from voting. The floor test is being held under the court's supervision, with the Principal Secretary, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs of the state asked to watch it as a court-appointed observer.
जब बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट हो सेंटर में तो तब इस तरह के अदालतें अगर फैसला दें तो फिर एक ही रोशनी की किरण नजर आती है। केंद्रीय सरकार से तो कोई अपेक्षा की नहीं जा सकती, कोई उम्मीद नहीं किया जा सकती। अगर कहीं रोशनी की किरण इस लोकतंत्र को बचाने की बची है तो वो जुडिशरी में बचेगी।
कोर्ट के निर्णय के ऊपर हम नहीं रहना, पहले है ना आज है। हम तो विधायकों के निर्णय पर काम कर रहे हैं और हमें उम्मीद है कि विधायक इस भ्रष्टाचारी सरकार को, माफियाओं के सरगना मुख्यमंत्री के खिलाफ वोट डालेंगे।
The court order clearly putting deposed Chief Minister Harish Rawat in a position of advantage.
के नंबर्स हमारे पास हैं, ये हम 28 मार्च को सिद्ध कर चुके हैं जब हम लोग गवर्नर साहब से मिलने गए थे। 34 एमएलएज ने उनके सामने कहा कि हम सरकार के हरीश रावत के साथ हैं और उनमें से किसी ने अभी ये नहीं कहा कि हम हरीश रावत के साथ नहीं हैं। केवल बीजेपी कह रही है क्योंकि वो पोचिंग करके दल बदल एक बार और दल बदल करवाना चाहते हैं।
जिस तरह का विधानसभा में अब जो स्वरूप है, जिस तरह के नंबर्स हैं, उचित तो ये होगा कि विधानसभा भंग हो और चुनाव हो और स्वच्छ छवि के लोग जीत के वापस आए।
The vote of confidence will now involve 27 Congress MLAs, 28 BJP MLAs, 6 PDF members and 1 nominated member. The total members to vote being 62, Rawat will need 32 votes to be reinstated as the Chief Minister.
In a lot of places, defections are happening. People are changing from one party to other party. One party person is appearing on the platform of the other party. And also, they are also felicitating him with their shawl and with their party flag. Still, no disqualification. Some people are changing party and becoming minister in other party government. Still, no disqualification. Some people are not voting against the government, but still they are disqualified, as it happened in Uttarakhand now. So we have to have a re-look with regard to the 10th schedule and the anti-defection law vis-a-vis the powers of the Speaker.
Elaborate security measures are in place for the floor test. The Uttarakhand Assembly will be out of bounds for the media. All legislators and officials have been barred from carrying mobile phones to the House. No vehicles will be allowed to enter the Assembly premises, and all MLAs, including the Speaker, will have to walk down to the House from the main gate. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
So all geared up for that crucial trust vote today. On to the latest in the AgustaWestland case now. A team of Enforcement Directorate officials is likely to soon travel to a few countries to seek expediting the process of replies to its judicial requests issued in the case. The team is likely to visit Singapore in this regard. The agency has already issued follow-up requests on its letters rogatories to at least 10 countries in connection with the money laundering case it has registered to probe the deal. These countries include Tunisia, Italy, the United Kingdom, Switzerland, the UAE, Mauritius, Israel, Finland, Singapore and Denmark. The CBI on Monday questioned former IAF chief SP Tyagi and 2 others in connection with the deal. PTI is quoting CBI sources saying that some foreign remittances were allegedly received by Tyagi in 2009, 2 years after his retirement. These were the focus of questioning by the ED. On the political front, the Congress now plans to move an appropriate motion in Parliament against Prime Minister Narendra Modi over his allegation during an election rally that an Italian court had named Sonia Gandhi in the AgustaWestland chopper bribery case. Congress Parliamentary Party will decide on the appropriate motion to be brought against the Prime Minister. Congress leader in Lok Sabha Mallikarjun Kharge had indicated that the party would bring a privilege motion against Modi in the House.
The AgustaWestland row resonated in the Rajya Sabha on Monday, triggering protests by the Congress members. Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad and Deputy Leader of Congress in the House Anand Sharma led the charge against the Prime Minister. Azad accused Prime Minister of using the deal to malign the Congress ahead of the Assembly elections in the 5 states and demanded an independent probe into the matter. Anand Sharma also demanded the Prime Minister's apology over allegations during an election rally that an Italian court had named Congress President Sonia Gandhi in the AgustaWestland chopper bribery case.
Sir, मेरा आखिरी क्वेश्चन ये होगा कि इसकी इंक्वायरी पूरे जांच जो हो रही है वो सीबीआई के द्वारा हो रही है, जिस और सीबीआई माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के अंदर आता है, और अगर प्रधानमंत्री जी ही इस तरीके की भाषा का इस्तेमाल करेंगे तो सीबीआई जाहिर है प्रभावित होगी। इसीलिए हमने पहले दिन से ही कहा कि अगर निष्पक्ष जांच करनी होगी, ट्रांसपेरेंट जांच करनी होगी तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट मॉनिटर सीबीआई इंक्वायरी करनी चाहिए।
Minister must come.
No, now listen to me.
And substantiate the statement that he has made.
Now listen to me.
He is the Prime Minister of India.
No.
Dismissing the charges, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi clarified that the Prime Minister had only repeated the Italian court's findings and did not make any policy announcement outside Parliament. Naqvi also reiterated the government's stand that the guilty in the AgustaWestland case would be punished.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने वही जो कुछ कहा है जो पूरी दुनिया जानती है, जो इटली की अदालत ने कहा है, जो उस दिन चर्चा में आई है बात, इसलिए कोई नई चीज नहीं, और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कोई पॉलिसी अनाउंसमेंट नहीं किया है। अगर इतना सा एबीसीडी भी ज्ञान होगा कि अगर कोई मिनिस्टर या प्राइम मिनिस्टर पॉलिसी अनाउंसमेंट करते हैं आउटसाइड ऑफ द हाउस जब सेशन चलता रहता है तो नहीं कर सकते, ये तो इलेक्शन रैली की स्पीच है।
Deputy Chairman PJ Kuran also clarified that the chair cannot take cognizance of speeches made outside Parliament.
The statement which is attributed to the Prime Minister is alleged to have been said out, which if he said is outside. It's a political speech. What the chair can do? If something is happening.
The Congress members, however, continued their tirade against the Prime Minister and demanded his apology. 0 hour and question hour became casualties as the Congress members trooped into the well of the House. The chairman urged the members to allow the House to function to no avail.
10 to 12 members raise issues during 0 hour. 30 to 36 members raise issues during question hour. That makes a total of 45 members of the House every day. Is it appropriate for any individual member or group of members, to raise an issue of interest to them during either the 0 hour or the question hour?
Even in the post-lunch session, chances of reconciliation appeared bleak as the opposition and the Treasury benches traded verbal blows. Repeated pleas by the Deputy Chairman to allow the House to function went unheeded.
Therefore, I am handicapped. But I am telling, if this attitude, this disruption continues, the chair will be forced to pass these bills without discussion.
As the protest did not subside, after repeated adjournments, the chair finally adjourned the House till Tuesday.
Till 11 a.m. on Tuesday, the 10th of May.
Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Shifting focus to Bihar now, after being on the run for 2 days, Rocky Yadav, the son of a JDU MLC, who allegedly shot dead a teenager for overtaking his SUV in Bihar's Gaya district, has been arrested. Gaya's senior superintendent of police, Garima Malik, confirmed his arrest and said the police is now carrying out regular raids based on inputs received from him. The arrest came after sustained interrogation of JDU legislator Manorama Devi at her Gaya residence. Initial inputs suggest Rocky was picked up from a factory located on the road to Bodh Gaya, in which Bindi Yadav, Rocky's father, has business interests. Bindi Yadav is currently in 14 days judicial custody. And the row over Prime Minister Narendra Modi's degree refuses to die down. After the BJP on Monday made public the BA and MA degrees of the Prime Minister and sought an apology from Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, his party has now questioned the authenticity of the document. Today, the Aam Aadmi Party leaders will go to the Delhi University to inspect the documents. The Congress too has called the degree fake and forged.
The BJP on Monday countered the Aam Aadmi Party's charges on the educational qualifications of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. At a press conference in Delhi, BJP leaders Amit Shah and Arun Jaitley revealed 2 degrees to show that Modi had secured a BA from the Delhi University and MA from the Gujarat University. They also criticized Kejriwal for dragging down the level of public discourse.
मांग करता हूं कि केजरीवाल जी ने देश और दुनिया की दोनों की माफी मांगनी चाहिए। जब आपके पास कोई पुख्ता सबूत नहीं थे कि डिग्री आप फर्जी हैं, तो इतना बड़ा सवाल आपने कैसे खड़ा कर दिया?
The Aam Aadmi Party retaliated about an hour later to claim that the degrees shown by the BJP leaders were fake.
आम आदमी पार्टी आपके माध्यम से देश की जनता को ये सूचित करना चाहती है कि जो डिग्री दिखाई गई है वो डिग्री फर्जी है, फोर्ज्ड है। तो बीए की मार्कशीट में नरेंद्र कुमार दामोदर दास मोदी का नाम एमए में बदल के हो जाता है नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी।
Opposition parties also sought an explanation from the Prime Minister.
The President of the BJP party, the Finance Minister, took so long to clarify. And Honorable Prime Minister doesn't tweet on this.
ये कह रहे हैं कि सही है, दूसरा कह रहे हैं कि ये फर्जी है, तो इस पे जांच कराइए। प्रधानमंत्री की डिग्री के ऊपर जांच हो फिर।
Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal had accused Prime Minister Modi of hiding facts about his Delhi University bachelor's degree. He had also urged the Delhi University Vice Chancellor to make the degree public. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving on now to all the election updates in our special segment, Verdict 2016. In an unflinching response to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Congress President Sonia Gandhi said she is not ashamed of her Italian background. Sonia Gandhi's remark came few days after the Prime Minister made a cutting remark about her Italian origins and a Milan court verdict which found bribes were paid in India for a helicopter deal when the Congress was in power. While addressing a rally in Thrissur in Kerala, the Congress president warned that the secular and progressive values of Kerala were under threat and that the state should stand together with the UDF to defend them. The UDF government in Kerala had implemented several mega developmental projects like Kannur Airport and Kochi Metro. She said Kerala will see a 3-point contest between the LDF, UDF and the BJP. Elections will determine the fortunes of the ruling BJP in the upper house of parliament, where it lacks majority currently.
I have spent 48 years of my life in India. This is my home. This is my country. For all of my 48 years here, the RSS, BJP and other parties taunted me to shame me for my birth. I was born to proud and honest parents. I will never be ashamed of them. It is here that I will breathe my last, and it is here that my ashes will mingle with those of my loved ones.
And Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has cancelled his visits to Puducherry, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, citing health reasons. He has said that doctors have advised him rest for the next 2 days. The decision comes in the backdrop of a security threat to his rally in Puducherry An anonymous letter threatening to kill him at an election rally in Puducherry has surfaced. After the death letter surfaced, a delegation of top Congress leaders met Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh in New Delhi and urged him to beef up Rahul's security. Singh had directed the Special Protection Group as well as the Intelligence Bureau to beef security. And news from the Supreme Court now. The Apex Court on Monday hinted that it may consider relaxing its order banning the registration of new diesel luxury cars and SUVs with an engine capacity of over 2,000 cc in Delhi as well as the NCR. The court said, primarily we are of the view that diesel vehicles cause more pollution than other vehicles. We may be right, we may be wrong. We are open to modifying it, a bench comprising Chief Justice T.S. Thakur said. The court also asked Delhi Government, Environment Pollution Control Authority and Taxi Owners Association to give a concrete roadmap for phasing out diesel taxis from Delhi NCR. The Apex Court also indicated that all diesel cars, depending on their price and engine capacity, must pay one-time environment cess, which would be determined after deliberations. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear various pleas today to relax its earlier order that banned diesel-run All India tourist permit taxis, which ferry BPO employs in the Delhi NCR region. And while seeking relaxation of the order of ban on diesel taxis in Delhi NCR, the centre told the Supreme Court that since the government is making all efforts to bring in foreign and domestic manufacturers under its Make in India campaign to increase production, the courts have no power to impose any ban, including one on diesel vehicles, if the car makers are adhering to prescribed standards. The observation came after Solicitor General Ranjit Kumar said that diesel was not the only evil responsible for pollution, and other fuels like CNG and petrol also pollute the environment. Time for a short break here. Lots more coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries on Rajya Sabha television.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll get you some more news from the Supreme Court. The Apex Court has rejected the pleas of state governments and minority institutions to allow them to hold separate entrance exams for MBBS and BDS courses for the academic year 2016-17. The Apex Court put to rest the matter, saying only NEET provides for conducting such tests for admission to these courses. The court also refused to modify its 28th April order, by which it had allowed Centre and CBSE to conduct a single common entrance test for admission to MBBS and BDS courses through the National Eligibility Entrance Test, or the NEET as it's called. The top court had approved the schedule put before it by the Centre, CBSE and Medical Council of India for treating all India pre-medical test fixed for the 1st of May as NEET 1. Those who have not applied for AIPMT or those who did not prepare well will be given opportunity to appear in NEET Phase 2 on the 24th of July. But in that case, they may have to give up candidature for NEET Part 1. The combined result would be declared on the 17th of August so that the admission process can be completed by the 30th of September. Around 6.5 lakh students took up the NEET Part 1 test held on the 1st of May. The International Consortium of Investigative Journalists has finally released the complete database of the Panama Papers. The list comprises of names of shareholders, beneficiaries, intermediaries and addresses pertaining to over 2 lakh offshore entities found in Mossack Fonseca's internal database. The data shows thousands of documents related to India linking close to 2,000 individuals, entities and addresses, some 22 offshore entities, 1,046 officers or individual links, 42 intermediaries and as many as 828 addresses within the country are revealed in the list. The government has said in the ongoing session of Parliament that the IT department has issued notices to a number of entities named in the list. Indian investigators have said They will be looking into it as much fresh information that comes in this case, including the latest revelations. The report further reveals that tax-free New Zealand shelf companies and trusts are being used to help channel funds around the world. The number of foreign trusts in New Zealand has surged to almost 10,700 this year from less than 2,000 10 years ago, according to the inland revenue figures quoted in the report. This has led to mounting pressure on Prime Minister John Key to take urgent action.
The government takes the issue seriously, and we have called for a review of disclosure rules for foreign trusts by tax expert John Shewan. If there's any need for change in this area, the government will consider it and, if necessary, take action.
Moving on to Brazil, the process of impeachment of President Dilma Rousseff has begun. The Senate has vowed to vote on the impeachment despite a decision by the lower house's interim speaker to annul it. On Monday, the acting speaker of the lower house, Walden Marano, ruled that impeachment vote was flawed and called for a new vote in the lower house. But rejecting his ruling, Senate Speaker Renan Calhorros said a vote in the upper house on whether to put Rousseff on trial would continue as scheduled on Wednesday. If Rousseff loses, she will be suspended from office pending a trial that could last 6 months. She faces allegations that her government violated fiscal rules. Now, as the political crisis deepens in the country, the Brazilian currency also continues to weaken further.
Aceitar essa brincadeira com a democracia seria ficar pessoalmente comprometido com o atraso do processo e ao fim e ao cabo não cabe ao presidente do Senado Federal.
Mas não é oficial, não sei as consequências. Por favor, tenham cautela. Nós vivemos uma conjuntura de manhas e artimanhas.
Philippines election candidate Grace Poe conceded to Rodrigo Duterte in the presidential race after unofficial results showed the tough-talking mayor winning a large chunk of votes. Poe, a popular senator who had been leading in opinion polls in earlier stages of campaigning, had won over a fifth of votes by midnight, but trailed Duterte by a substantial margin during the vote count. Poe said she will still continue her pro-poor campaign despite conceding. The election numbers reported by the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, which is accredited by the Election Commission, showed Duterte had 13.7 million votes, followed by Manuel Rosas with nearly 8 million and Poe third with 7.6 million.
Ginawa natin ang lahat ng ating makakaya. Ako si Grace Poe at naging kandidato para sa pagkapangulo ngayong 2016. Ay nagbibigay daan kay Rodrigo Duterte na siyang maliwanag na nangunguna sa kasalukuyang bilangan at siyang napili ng nakararami sa ating mga kababayan.
And some more international updates in this quick world wrap. A Mexican judge has ruled that drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman can be extradited to face charges in the United States. Guzman was moved to a high-security prison in the northern city of Ciudad Juarez on the U.S. border. A senior Mexican security official said the kingpin's extradition was in motion and would happen by mid-year. Guzman faces charges ranging from money laundering to drug trafficking, kidnapping and murder in cities that include Chicago, Miami and New York. British Prime Minister David Cameron made a big, bold, patriotic case for Britain to stay in the European Union, saying membership helped protect the country and boosted its power on the world stage. In a speech setting out the security argument for Britain to vote to remain in the EU, Cameron told an audience of diplomats and campaigners that to keep the nation strong in the world and keep people safe, membership of the EU is one of the tools that helps them to do these things. A suspected tornado touched down near Katy, Oklahoma, swirling through fields as it moved northeast, crossing an interstate. An NBC affiliate caught the funnel cloud on video near Katy, which is about 70 miles south of Oklahoma City. Later, the station recorded a funnel cloud in a field near Mill Creek, about 90 miles southeast of Oklahoma City. Much of eastern Oklahoma was under either tornado or severe thunderstorm watches. And on the sports front, suspended European soccer chief Michel Platini resigned as UEFA president after losing his appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport against a ban for ethics violations imposed by the sports world body FIFA. A three-man cast panel upheld Platini's suspension but cut his ban from 6 to 4 years. The 60-year-old Frenchman called the verdict a deep injustice and said he was left with no choice but to step down from the UEFA position he has held since 2007. Platini now has the right to appeal, but CAS Secretary General Matteo Re previously said that this would be unlikely to help the situation. In December 2015, Platini was banned from football-related activities over corruption allegations. And some more sports updates in the Sports Beat. Fully equipped with armor and weapons, men and women from all over the world traveled back in time for the World Championships in full contact medieval combat. The participants used weapons from the Middle Ages in the championship held in the Czech capital this year. The goal is to recreate the rawness of the medieval battle. This year, the battle was dominated by Russia and Ukraine, with Russia winning the World Championship. Emirates team New Zealand won Sunday's final race of the New York City stop of the America's Cup World Series to remain on top in the points race competition between the world's top sailing teams. The two-day event provided America's Cup skippers a chance to get back on the boats, assess the competition, and further develop the skills and tactics that could be crucial in next year's America's Cup in Bermuda. Oracle Team USA finished second, with SoftBank Team Japan third in the final race. Heather Watson reached the second round of the Italian Open with a 6-4, 3-6, 6-0 win over world number 14 Sara Irani. British number 2 Watson, who went through qualifying to reach the main draw in Rome, defeated the 2012 French Open finalist in 2 hours and 16 minutes. It means the Guernsey-born Watson, currently 55th in the world, will go through to face the Czech Republic's Barbora Strykova, ranked 36 in round 2. And that's all we have for you in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.